good would it do if she's not even going to hug you anymore? You need to move on with your life, Ding Renjian. Would you wake up?
All done. Done. Does it even matter? I'm nothing like those developers. And I don't want to be. It's not right.
I didn't take advantage of anyone. On the job, I turned it down.
Hold on. Do you realize how much trouble I went through to make this opportunity possible for you?
What good would it do if she's not even going to hug you anymore? You need to move on with your life, Ding Renjian. Would you wake up?
All done. Done. Does it even matter? I'm nothing like those developers. And I don't want to be. It's not right.
I didn't take advantage of anyone. On the job, I turned it down.
Hold on. Do you realize how much trouble I went through to make this opportunity possible for you?
Mundos divididos por una sombra de traición.
Don't do it, man, please let go of the gun!
What do you want? You're not supposed to be inside this house.
I didn't want to leave without saying goodbye to my cousin, but I can't find her anywhere. Would you know where she is?
What's going on?
I don't know.
Oh my God. I hope my grandson Alonso is all right.
Hello. What's going on? You had caught her in some kind of situation that you didn't like?
Yes.
Lying heart.
Fue sembrando el veneno y la ambición. Entre dos turns away, the sun sends the day, creeping into the gloom.
I promise to love you like you. This is love, my dear. Welcome to my world. And let us share, baby. I got you, baby. I got you.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
We take it on at the right time.
Honorable Musalia Mudavadi.
The Honorable Mutahi Kagwe.
Chief Justice Martha Karambuko.
This is KBC, the voice of Kenya.
Asking the right questions.
I don't know how it made you feel as speaker who is presiding over a house where members can be compromised with 10,000 shillings.
We keep our guests comfortable. A mission to ensure our audience gets a complete story.
For a few hours or so, I thought this is it. My end has come.
If really we want an end of this pandemic, we must fight.
Our goal, to tell it as it is for the benefit of our viewer.
And I'm sure we will have good discussions.
All right.
That will make probably your viewers understand KDF better.
With 21 radio outlets.
During a live interview on KBC TV, Chief of Defense Forces General Robert Kiboshi.
Jaji mkuu kwa mara ya kwanza katika mahojiano yake ya kipekee na runinga ya KBC Channel 1.
And 2 TV stations covering over 90% of the entire country. The message always gets home. KBC
the home of on-air TV interviews.
Well, it's Monday, the 10th day of January 2022. This is KBC Prime Edition. Good evening. My name is Tom.
My name is Purity Museo. Welcome to the broadcast. I hope you had yourself a fantastic weekend. We have a comprehensive bulletin for you that includes business news and sports. And by the way, Tom, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, we're happy to be back, of course, and we're gonna look at our headline stories first.
To say from the net here that we do not subscribe to any divisive talk.
Meru Senator Mithika Linturi spends another night in police custody pending arraignment in court tomorrow as DP William Ruto condemns his remarks. A multi-agency security team deployed in Lamu as another attack claims 2 more lives. And the Ministry of Tourism rejects request by hoteliers to review COVID-19 vaccination certificate requirement. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Feel free to interact with us at Purity_Museo, at Mboya 24, at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag is Prime Edition. Lensa Odinga is our sign language interpreter tonight.
Well, straight to our top story. Meru Senator Mithika Linturi will spend the night at Kaptembeo Police Station, that's in Nakuru Town West, awaiting to be arraigned in court on Tuesday.
Even as the Chief Magistrate Edna Nyanoti cited lack of time to hear the matter on Monday, the prosecution will be seeking 7 more days to detain him. Linturi was arrested on Saturday for his utterances during a rally in Eldoret on Saturday that landed him in trouble.
Ben Tronjue opens our coverage tonight.
Meru Senator Mithika Linturi will miss Tuesday's Senate special sitting as he will be arraigned in a Nakuru court. On Monday, the prosecution led by State Counsel Jamsumba Onyango sought to hold the senator for a further 7 days pending investigations.
One Honorable Franklin Mithika Linturi be detained for 7 days at Kaptembo Police Station, pending investigations in the matter.
However, the court noted there was insufficient time to hear the matter and pushed it to Tuesday. However, the defense objected the application, saying that there were no compelling reason to continue detaining the senator without charging him.
So the court should be interested in asking the prosecution, where have they been for the last 24 hours? It is not even fair to this court, to the defense, to the accused person, to be rushed to court 30 minutes before closure of business time.
The state cannot rely on emotions to say that the offense is so serious that bail should be denied.
They argued that he had a crucial matter at Senate special sitting on Tuesday to debate the political party's amendment bill.
Meanwhile, Deputy President William Ruto has condemned the incitement remarks by Meru Senator Mithika Linturi. He, however, called for impartial application of the law in dealing with hate mongers in the country.
Ruto, who spoke during a rally in Bomet, cautioned politicians allied to UDA to mind their language and avoid making inflammatory statements. Ruto's move comes in the wake of mounting criticism of Linturi's remarks and caution on politicians against undermining cohesion in the run-up to elections.
Ben Chumba reports.
Meru Senator Mithika Linturi's madoadoa statement took the center stage during the UDA political rallies in Bomet and Kericho counties, where the Deputy President William Ruto broke silence, asking UDA politicians to mind their language.
And I want to tell members of my team, the Hustler Nation, that all of us must mind our language. All of us must be careful about what they say, so that we can unite this country, because that is what the Hustler Nation believes in.
Speaking at the Bomet Green Stadium in Bomet County, Ruto, while condemning Linturi for his inappropriate use of language, promised that his party UDA will be at the forefront in preaching peace.
Senator Linturi made a statement which he regrets, a statement that had inappropriate language, and Senator Linturi has apologized. He has withdrawn the statement and he has unconditionally apologized to the people of Kenya.
The DP was, however, quick to ask state security agencies to impartially deal with all hate mongers across the political divide.
We want every inciter in Kenya, whether they belong to UDA or they belong to the other side, we want the law to apply equally so that we can secure our nation.
This even as the National Council of NGOs strongly condemn political utterances being peddled by some politicians. The council, while calling for political tolerance from both the leaders and their supporters, want relevant security agencies to arrest and charge those spreading hate.
Tutasimama imara na wananchi wa Kenya na serikali yetu pia kuhakikisha wale wanatoa matamshi ya chuki wanachukuliwa hatua za kisheria, sababu kila neno ambayo inatoka kinywa cha kiongozi yote ni amana, na inatakikana pia kila kiongozi hawe na makini kuhakikisha kwamba asitambue maneno ambayo imelete shida.
Similar sentiments were shared by a section of women leaders drawn from Mount Kenya, who warned politicians against making statements that could plunge the country into chaos ahead of the general elections.
Sisi ndio wazazi wa watoto wetu wale waliuawa 207. Sisi ndio mabibi ya wazee wetu wale waliuawa 207, na huwezi kuturudisha nyuma.
We are speaking as women from 7 political parties in Mount Kenya. Our agenda is peace. That is most important, and we have said we will throw our weight as women in Mount Kenya behind the leader who will assure us of peace, cohesion and unity.
Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
The Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata has assured Lamu residents of their security, this despite a series of attacks in the region. Speaking on the sidelines of a security meeting with Lamu leaders led by Governor Fahim Toha and Lamu security officials, the RC reiterated that the security agencies are vigilant and will restore peace in the country. This as yet another attack in Kibaoni claimed 2 more lives, and Buru has that report.
Security in Lamu County has continued to be heightened amid yet another attack in Kibaoni that saw 2 people killed by unknown attackers. Confirming the incident, Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata said though they have made no arrests, they have a crucial lead on the attackers and have adequate military and police deployed to deal with the situation.
Indeed, there were 2 people who died yesterday in the process of escaping from those attackers. Like I've said, a loophole was identified, which the attackers exploited, but that has not been sealed. That has now been sealed, and don't expect to see any further incident of that nature, because we've emplaced soldiers as well as police in those areas.
Elungata saying he is cognizant of rising tension in areas including Juhudi and Kamukunji in Majembeni location near Kibaoni, saying the situation is being handled with the police and military deployed to ensure they secure those isolated areas.
In the process, a lot of people left their homesteads, came to Kibaoni, where we have sheltered them in a school nearby. But by this morning, I think a lot of them began going back, and we want to assure them that the military as well as the police have put in place mechanisms to ensure that those who are really in isolated places are protected, and that there should be no issue of worry, because we have discovered where the loophole was and we have sealed it.
Lamu leaders commended the national government's quick intervention and appealed to the residents to remain calm and coexist harmoniously while the multi-agency security team deals with the insecurity.
All communities, wafugaji, wakulima, wavuvi, tukae pamoja, tuzungumze hii maneno. Alafu pia wakubwa watakuja kuaddress zile matatizo nyeti tuko nayo hivi sasa.
Serikali na sisi viongozi sote tumeweka tofauti zetu za kikabila za siasa kando, na tumeamua kwamba tushikane, tuwe kitu kimoja, tulete usawa, na ili Lamu iweze kuendelea na iwe ni mahali pazuri pa kila mtu kuishi.
Hatutakubali. Tumekaa na amani, tumekaa na ustaarabu, tumekaa na upendo wananchi wote wa jumla. Less than 6 months to election, tunaona mambo kama haya, lakini tunaachia serikali wafanye uchunguzi, wapate wahusika wakuu na to bring them to books.
At the same time, Lamu woman representative Ruwaida Mohammed called on the security agencies to apprehend those using social media to escalate tension and cause animosity among the residents.
Tumesema hapa, wale watu wa Facebook wanaotetesha watu Lamu washikwe immediately, na wale wanachochea baina communities na community washikwe immediately, wapelekwe polisi ndio iwe mfano kwa wengine.
For Prime Edition from Lamu County, I am Anburu.
Let's stay at the coast, and health workers in Mombasa County had threatened to down their tools Tuesday if their salary dispute wasn't resolved by midnight. That strike has been called off. Meanwhile, the Kenya County Government Workers Union of Mombasa have suspended that imminent strike following successful negotiations with the county governor, Hassan Joho. As Juni Karisa reports, the Joho-led administration is appealing for calm and sobriety as they negotiate to address the welfare of their workers.
Monday morning at the Freedom Tree at the Coast General Hospital, 5 health workers unions converged to air their grievances on the settlement with their employer. The unions decry 2 months unpaid salaries, an inactive comprehensive medical cover, as well as unremitted statutory deductions.
Watoto bado kwa nyumbani, hawajaenda shuleni. Manyumba hazijalipwa, chakula hakuna transport. How will you go to work? Are you going to crawl to work?
The workers have resorted to down their tools by midnight today if the county government does not yield to their demands.
Tunahuzunika sana kwamba mnaanza mwaka mpya mkiwa wagonjwa na mnakosa huduma kwa hospitali za umma.
However, at the Kenya County Government Workers Union Mombasa branch headquarters, its leadership convened to suspend their strike notice scheduled for Tuesday next week.
Tumepokea simu kutonesha kwamba amefaulu kulipa mishahara miwili na kuweza kulipa matibabu kwa jumla. Na yale yote ambayo kwamba ilikuwa yanamtatiza mfanyikazi wako tayari kuyatekeleza.
The Union Secretary General Haj Mwinyi says successful bilateral talks with the county boss on Friday halted the strike with the promise that the workers' pay and medical cover will be resolved by Friday.
Niliweza kukaa mikutano mingi sana management ambayo kwamba mikutano ile haikuzaa matunda kwa sababu walikuwa wana lack of communication. Iwapo sengine tulikuwa tunaenda kwenye mikutano pia sengine wanatukimbia, hawakai, tunampata mmoja ama wawili ambao kwamba shida kama zile hatuwezi kuzitatua, lakini tukasinikiza ni lazima tumpate gavana ili ajue yanayojiri.
Mwinyi further revealed that the union was in talks with the County Public Service Board to renegotiate the workers' CBA that has stagnated from 2012.
Wakati mwingi unapokuwa unataka kuenda katika negotiation una aim higher, aim 100%, lakini katika negotiation time ikifika is a matter of give and take.
Mombasa County Secretary Job Tumbo is calling for patience among the affected lot, urging them to give negotiations a chance.
Some of the grievances that they had raised, which had been taken up by the governor, have started yielding fruit, and that salaries are coming through. I would be very, very disappointed if and when the doctors continue with the strike. I would urge them and encourage them that based on the meeting that they had with His Excellency the Governor on Friday, they need to give that discussion a chance.
Meanwhile, the creative industry has distanced themselves from the stalemate, dismissing reports that the county government had diverted the salaries during the Endia festivity.
Nimepitia gazeti fulani, nimeona kuna bwana mmoja wa human rights anasema kwamba kulipa msanii ni waste of funds. Hiyo kitu inauma sana.
Mwingine nimeona amesema tumelipwa milioni 2. Milioni 200. Nimefurahi sana kama ameona sisi thamani yetu iko kiasi hicho. Ukweli ni kwamba kama ana proof alete.
Juni Karisa Mbele for the Prime Edition from Mombasa County.
To politics. Nairobi gubernatorial hopeful Tim Wanyonyi says he has what it takes to propel Nairobi to the next level of development should he clinch the county's top seat. Speaking when he met 100 members of the clergy at the United Kenya Club in Nairobi, Wanyonyi said his track record as the Westlands Member of Parliament speaks for itself. Yusuf Farah reports.
Let your will be done. Yes. As he goes out, Jehovah God.
Westlands MP Tim Wanyonyi, who is eyeing the Nairobi gubernatorial seat on an ODM ticket, said it's now time to place Nairobi in the hands of leaders who prioritize service delivery to residents instead of previous leaders who fulfill their selfish interests.
I have worked in City Hall before as a councillor, before I became a member of Parliament for Westlands. I know what it takes for us to fix Nairobi. And Nairobi cannot be fixed by an individual. Nairobi will be fixed by the people of Nairobi. The people of Nairobi must stand up and say enough is enough. We don't want people who come and take advantage and deliver nothing, promise heaven and deliver zero.
Elsewhere in Bungoma, a section of Luo MPs have rooted for Deputy President William Ruto's presidential bid, saying he has better plans to revive the economy through boosting small-scale trade.
Nimeongea na watu ya bodaboda, nimeongea na manamba, nimeongea na wale wakulima, nimeongea na wale watu maskini, na wakaniambia chama ya kuingia ambaye inaweza kubadilisha maisha ya watu ya Bungoma ni chama ya UDA.
Ana sera za kuinua wamama, ana sera za kujenga uchumi wa taifa. Huyo ndio president tunataka.
And the commissioner with the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, Doricus Kidogo, has warned hate-mongers in political rallies of stern action. The commissioner spoke at a funeral service in Muhanda village in Vihiga County, where differences between ODM and ANC leaders took center stage.
Chunga sana, wakati huu ni wakati wa kuomba kura. Omba kura yako vizuri pamoja na watu wako. Ukiwaambia waanze kuzusha, walete vurugu, sisi tutakabiliana na wao, hatutakabiliana na yule alikuambia.
The commissioner added that the commission won't entertain such inflammatory utterances. Yusuf Farah reporting for Prime Edition.
Well, that story brings us to our first break right here on KBC Prime.
We are live on all our social media platforms. Do tweet us also at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag is Prime Edition. Stay with us.
Kate na babako ni wazimu, walitafutana wakapatana.
Alikwambia yualala nani? Ataweza kwa hiyo tuchungulia hapa.
Hii ni changamoto mojawapo ambayo mtu hupitia katika ulezi.
Na mimi sitaki kuona hapa. Sitaki uje hapa tena.
Unaficha nini? Na kuona umeficha nini?
Realize that our music is growing and people are receptive to it. We have like diehard fans now, which is great.
Aroboy was so mad, akasema wanaume waache umbea, waache kusengenyana, waache kuropokwa.
Shika nina drive na mayen. Na mayen. Kawa mini enda ulize bora yen.
Where did sailors go? We are not seeing them in any concerts. We are not getting anything new from them. No content. No, there's no music from them.
Nairobi ni.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back. Teachers and learners in Milimani Community Primary School, that's in Malindi, Kilifi County, are pleading for assistance to help them address an infrastructural challenge at the institution. The school, which is near the town centre, has only 2 toilets, lacks enough classrooms, and has no desks for learners at all. Let's see how the pupils share toilets with their teachers, irrespective of their gender.
This school in Malindi, Kilifi County, has only 1 toilet that is shared among teachers and learners. The teachers are also forced to sit under this cashew nut tree as the institution lacks an office block. Learners are forced to sit on the floor as the school has less than 10 desks in an institution of 188 pupils.
Wakati wa kuandika inakuwa vigumu kwa sababu hawana pahali pa kuwekelea, ni kwenye mapaja. Madawati ya kutosha hakuna, ni kama madawati mawili yaliyoletwa na mfadhili mmoja.
Kuna floor iliharibika, pia mabati ni hivyo ambavyo mmesikia hapo yanachapa-chapa.
Joseph Kambi Kazungu, a retired teacher who acts as the deputy head teacher at the school, says the institution has made the learning environment unconducive.
Angalau kama kutakuwa na usaidizi kama tunavyojua sisi, ni vile vilivyojengwa tayari vile, na kuna kisehemu kingine kule, ukiangalia kule kuna kisehemu kingine kule. Hicho nacho tuliambiwa huyo mwenyewe amekubali kukitoa kwa shule.
He said the school, which is run by parents, requires urgent intervention because the challenges pose a major health hazard to both the learners and staff.
Serious. Because ukiona watoto choo ni kimoja cha wasichana na wavulana pamoja na walimu. Hii ni aibu gani Malindi hii jamani?
The school was first built by Devolution Chief Administrative Secretary Gideon Mungaro when he was elected Member of Parliament for Malindi. Then William Tengo built 2 more classrooms when he was elected MP in 2016.
To the corridors of justice, the High Court has extended orders to freeze the lease of Mumias Sugar Company pending hearing of new applications on contempt of court and jurisdiction. Justice Anthony Ndungu warned that anyone who disobeys the orders would be doing so at their own peril.
Mumias Sugar Company woes continue as the High Court extended orders seeking to freeze the lease of the company. Justice Anthony Ndongo extended the orders after Mumia Sugar Company filed a contempt of court application against Sarai Group of companies who won the lease of executing the lease without the consent of Mumia's company or seeking leave from the court. Sarai Group, on the other hand, filed an application challenging the jurisdiction of the court to hear the matter, arguing that the freeze orders were overtaken by events as the injunctions were issued after the lease had been awarded. Justice Anthony Ndongo directed that the applications be heard on the 22nd of January this year.
Confirm the copy.
Meanwhile, the hearing of the Arol and Kimwarel Dam scandal involving former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich continued on Monday with an amendment to the charge sheet.
Under Section 214 of the CPC, the prosecution, Your Honor, is allowed to make amendments to the charge.
Former Inspector General of State Corporations Titus Moreidi will take plea after the amendment of count 26 of the case, which accused him of using his office to intentionally issue a misleading report on the Aror and Kimwarel Dam projects to the Cabinet Secretary for East Africa Community and Regional Development, Aidan Mohammed. Finally, a businessman has been released on a 1 million shillings bond after denying obtaining over 4 million shillings by false pretenses. Peter Gitao denied obtaining 4,139,200 shillings from Peter Njenga Muhika by purporting he was in a position to assist him purchase a house in Buruburu, Nairobi in October 2018, yet he knew he couldn't.
He may be released on bond of 1 million shillings with one surety of similar amount or cash bail of 500,000 shillings with one contact person. Will be supplied with copies of witness statements, the charge sheet, and any other documentary evidence.
The case will be mentioned on 24th of January. For Prime Edition, I'm Ben Troinjue.
An update on the COVID situation now. The coronavirus infection rate has remained high in the last 2 months, with the positivity rate ranging between 20 and 30%. In the last 24 hours, Kenya reported 1,034 cases of the infection, and the disease positivity rate stands at 20.8%. The total confirmed positivity cases are now 312,572, and cumulative tests so far stand at 3,104,457. Unfortunately, 8 patients succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits in the months of December 2021 and January 2022. This now pushes the cumulative fatalities to 5,454 between Sunday and Monday. 3,611 patients recovered from the disease, raising their tally to 268,573. Globally, there are 308,158,876 confirmed cases and 5,507,604 deaths from the corona COVID-19 outbreak as of the 10th of January 2022. Now, the World Health Organization, WHO, has warned against those people describing the Omicron variant as mild, saying that it is killing people across the world. Recent studies suggest that Omicron is less likely to make people seriously ill than previous COVID variants. However, according to WHO, the record number of people catching it has left the health systems under severe pressure.
The World Health Organization says that the number of COVID-19 global cases has increased by 71% in the last week, and in the Americas by 100%. The global health body further says that among severe cases worldwide, 90% were unvaccinated. According to WHO, while Omicron does not appear to be less severe compared to Delta, especially in those vaccinated, it does not mean it should be categorized as mild.
Just like previous variants, Omicron is hospitalizing people and it's killing people. In fact, the tsunami of cases is so huge and quick that it is overwhelming health systems around the world.
On Monday, the US recorded more than 1 million COVID-19 cases in 24 hours. Authorities in the Chinese port city of Tianjin said they began a citywide testing campaign of its 14 million residents after a cluster of 20 children and adults tested positive for COVID-19, including at least 2 with the Omicron variant. Indian authorities reported 159,632 new COVID-19 cases on Sunday, forcing several states to impose new restrictions in an effort to curb the spread of the virus. Israel, which has begun administering a fourth jab to its most at-risk groups, announced eased access to home COVID-19 tests to allow people to decide whether to quarantine at home amid shortages in shops and complaints about high prices. Data released on Sunday said Africa had registered a total of more than 10 million coronavirus cases. Statistics from the Center for Disease Control showed there had been 10,028,508 cases reported by the African Union's 55 member states since the outbreak of the pandemic. Globally, there has been 298,915,721 confirmed cases of COVID-19, including 5,469,303 deaths reported to the World Health Organization. As of January 8, 2022, a total of 9,128,987,353 vaccine doses had been administered.
And tonight, our weekly segment, The Cabinet, commences. It will offer snapshot profiles of the men and women who have served as government ministers right from Mzee Jomo Kenyatta's regime to the current one of President Uhuru Kenyatta. The premiere episode focuses on Kenya's first Vice President, Jaramogi Odinga. Have a look.
Jaramogi Odinga was born in 1911 in the then Central Nyanza, now Bondo, in Siaya County. After completing his formal education in 1939 with a diploma in education from Makerere University College, he taught mathematics at Museo School from 1940 to 1942 and later served as principal of the Museo Veterinary School between 1943 to 1946. In 1947, he dropped teaching for business and politics, got elected to the membership of Central Nyanza District Council. In October 1952, when Kenyatta was detained by the British government and 6 months later sentenced to jail, Jaramogi became one of the most outspoken advocates for his release. In 1956, the colonial government allowed Africans to directly elect their representatives to the Legislative Council, and Odinga was elected to represent Central Nyanza. After the first Lancaster House Conference in London in 1960, Jaramogi and other members of the Legislative Council formed the Kenya African National Union, KANU. In 1962, the second Lancaster House Conference was convened with KANU and KADU agreeing to form a coalition and go to the general election. Kenya became a republic within the Commonwealth in 1964, with Kenyatta as president. Jaramogi was the vice president and minister for home affairs between 1964 and 1966. In mid-1964, Jaramogi was branded a communist by his detractors, with rumors he was planning to seize control of the government. In 1966, KANU's vice president's post was abolished and replaced with 7 vice presidents representing 6 regions and Nairobi. Jaramogi was kicked out of his influential position. Jaramogi reacted by resigning as the country's vice president and the minister for home affairs, forming an opposition party, the Kenya People's Union, the same year in 1966.
The Cabinet, a weekly segment that offers snapshot profiles of men and women who have served in government since independence. Now, moving on, a family in Garissa is appealing for assistance to find their kin who went missing under unclear circumstances. 21 was acquitted after investigations failed to link him to terror charges that had been preferred against him. This story and more in our country news roundup.
Sheikh Noor's case was dropped on December 29th after investigations failed to link him to terror-related charges. Abdullahi Yusuf, a family member, says that Sharif was arrested by plainclothes officers outside Garissa High on the same day, whisked away in a pickup whose number plate was concealed. He has not been traced to date.
Tunauliza serikali itueleze pale walipeleka kijana yetu. Sisi kama familia tunaheshimu serikali, lakini tunaomba haraka iwezekanavyo ijulikanwe pale alipopelekwa.
Meanwhile, police officers in Embu have commenced investigations into the death of a man who was found murdered by the roadside in Blue Valley Estate within Embu West Sub-County. According to the area police commander Julius Kimbure, preliminary investigations indicate that the man, who is yet to be identified, succumbed to stab wounds after a confrontation involving 5 men around midnight on Monday.
Mpaka sasa sisi tunaendelea na utafiti wetu. Tunatafuta mashahidi ambao labda pengine walikuwa wameshuhudia na waliweza aidha kuona hao watu, tuone kama tunaweza tukawashika.
Elsewhere, shock and grief has engulfed residents of Kirwara village in Katanga, Murang'a County, as the body of one of 3 Class 7 students at Mboya Primary who drowned at River Kiama was retrieved by a local volunteer diver.
Tulisikia ripoti kutoka kwa wakaaji wa area hii ya kwamba kuna watoto watatu ambao wanaonekana kwa hii mto Kiama. Ndipo tulichukua hatua, tukaja hapa tukakuta ya kwamba wao tayari wameshaaga dunia. Ndio tulichukua hatua, tukaita polisi.
Siku ya jana tuliweza kutoa vijana wawili kwa hii mto Kiama. Tukakuwa tumetoa vijana wawili, mmoja akabaki. Sasa tumekuja asubuhi tukajaribu vile tutaweza, tumetoa mmoja.
The 2 of the other bodies were retrieved yesterday night by the same village divers. The boys are said to have gone on a swimming escapade before the incident happened. The bodies of the 3, Maxwell Mwaura, Regan Karanja and John Mambo, have been moved to General Cargo Mortuary in Thika. Finally, 94 foreigners of Ethiopian origin, including minors, have been nabbed at Kitengela town in Kajiado County. The foreigners, all male, were smoked out of their hideout by police officers in an apartment within Milimani area in Kitengela, following reports of suspicious businesses within the isolated premises.
Lakini naleta container meja siku saa 8 ingiza ndani, hata watu moja mekelele na biga tumiga rungi, lakini shida mingi sana. Nimelala chini, hata shida tu tembea kwenye mguu. Siku 3 kwenye mguu tembea, watu wa Kenya 3 na biga, lakini hata sasa hivi mimi natokea kwenye sopa mezi 4 hii.
Reporting for Prime Edition, I'm Wamboi Otiende.
De traición. Don't do it, man, please let go of the gun!
What do you want? You're not supposed to be inside this house.
I didn't want to leave without saying goodbye to my cousin, but I can't find her anywhere. Would you know where she is?
What's going on?
I don't know.
Oh my God. I hope my grandson Alonso is all right.
Hello. What's going on? You had caught her in some kind of situation that you didn't like? Yes. Lying heart.
Fue sembrando el veneno y la ambición entre dos.
Good evening and happy new year. Hope that you are enjoying your year. My name is Carol Jenga as I take you through today's business. Now we look at the top stories that are making headlines tonight. And the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife will not revise its vaccination certificate requirement for hotel customers as requested by a section of tourism industry players. Tourism Principal Secretary Professor Fred Sigor said there is no trade-off between business and health, and therefore the government will continue following strict Ministry of Health guidelines on containing the spread of coronavirus.
Regulation requiring patrons to hotels, bars, lounges, casinos and game parks to show COVID vaccination certificates to access services came into force 3 weeks ago. However, some hoteliers say the new regulation is likely to hurt business that has been battered by COVID-19 containment restrictions and want the government to review it.
When it comes to issues health, the Ministry of Health is in the forefront in giving direction. And whenever we are handling issues tourism, we ensure that we work closely with them.
Professor Segor urged tourism industry players to continue enforcing the Ministry of Health guidelines on containing the spread of coronavirus, noting that health is of paramount importance to the country.
And as directed by Ministry of Health, we work very closely to ensure that the policy on the side of government is followed.
He made the remarks during the handover of 5 patrol motor vehicles and 20 motorbikes valued at 35 million shillings to the Masai Mara National Reserve and Tsavo National Parks for enhancing anti-poaching and illegal wildlife trafficking in Kenya. The government says these are part of Kenya's larger 2.1 billion shillings anti-poaching strategies.
As much as poachers are also increasing their technology, I want to assure you that as government, we are using a multi-agency approach, and in addition, we are also modernizing our equipment to ensure that we are ahead as far as this issue is concerned, because we are determined to ensure that poaching is indeed brought to an end.
The project was partly financed by the United Nations Development Programme. Alanauko, Prime Edition.
Now, Insurance Regulatory Authority is challenging underwriters to enhance value and trust in insurance to grow uptake, while officially handing over an insurance operating license to Equity Life Assurance, which is a subsidiary of Equity Group. Insurance Regulatory Authority Chair Abdurrahim Haithar says there is need to increase the number of players so as to lower the cost of premiums.
Kenya is ranked among the top 3 African nations in insurance penetration. However, insurance penetration in Kenya currently stands at 2.4% against a global average of 7.2%. The Insurance Regulatory Authority is now calling on established firms to step up subsidiaries with separate structures and commercial agreements in line with the regulator to tap into the market.
When you're selling insurance, you're telling trust. And when people trust the name, they buy into it. A wide, a distributor network that you already have that you can utilize to sell the product.
Speaking during the official handing over of an insurance operating license to Equity Life Assurance, Equity Group CEO James Mwangi said the long-term strategy of the new subsidiary is to ensure that more Kenyans take up insurance as a way of cushioning themselves against risks.
Insurance would be to complement what the financial sector has played. Protection is the biggest tool of protecting the quality of the assets of banking industry.
The regulator is challenging players to enhance distribution and value for the customer to grow trust in underwriting.
Make our contribution, maybe making our protection more inclusive, maybe trying to simplify protection so that it's more widely understood by people, and hopefully make insurance protection as accessible as maybe financial access has become accessible.
Equity Life Assurance joins 61 other insurance providers in the country. The top 5 life assurance companies in Kenya by turnover, which have a combined market share of 63.4%, are Britam Life, ICEA Lion Life, Jubilee Insurance, Canada, and Sanlam Life. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime.
Now, to some good news for transporters and importers, Kenya Railways has slashed by a third the transport tariff for cargo being ferried by rail between Mombasa and Malabar in efforts to lure importers and transporters to embrace rail transport. The changes for transporting a 50-50 container between Mombasa and Malabar has reduced from $1,200 to $800. Kenya Railways Managing Director Philip Mainge says the parastatal has kicked off a 2-month trial of seamlessly transport of cargo between Mombasa and Malabar that will reduce cargo transit time from 4 days to 28 hours.
The movement of cargo through the railway system is efficient, it's reliable, it's safe, and that is why the rehabilitation of the 465 kilometers is a landmark. It's a landmark for us because we were moving at speeds of around 30 kilometers the highest per hour. And now we are able to do 50 to 60 and our maximum speed is 80. We are running 8 to 9 trains per day by SGR every day. So I can assure you 50% of those trains will end up in ICD. So probably a minimum of 4 to 5 trains coming in here on their way to the region through Maraba.
Still on the transport sector, Kenya Ports Authority has acquired 1.9 billion shillings multi-purpose to salvage tugboat for rescue marine operations during emergencies. The authority is investing in modernization of its marine vessels to enhance port service efficiency.
While receiving the vessel christened Mkombozi 2, which was built in Turkey, Kenya Ports Authority General Manager Operations and Harbour Sudi Mwasingo said the tugboat, which is an additional to a fleet of 5, would help reduce costs that were being incurred on hiring salvage services. The new tugboat is expected to offer rescue services, fire suppression, maritime pollution control, and marine salvage.
So most importantly, this is a salvage tug that is capable of doing salvage operations on ships in peril and in distress. Having this tugboat available, they are able now to service or salvage ships that have problems in the whole region up to Mauritius and Seychelles.
The Kenya Ports Authority plans to hire the tugboat since in the sub-Saharan African region, it is only in South Africa that has salvage boats.
The arrival of this tugboat that is adding capacity to the port and as well also opening new business, because this is a tug that can be even chartered. And we're also getting reports that some countries like Oman and Qatar, they also want to charter this salvage tug. So it's assisting us in 2 ways, by adding capacity and also giving us a new business line and also helping others in peril.
For Business News from Mombasa County, I am Ann Buru.
And that is how we wrap up business news for tonight. But before I go, here's a look at the Forex market report. My name is Carol Jenga. Have a good night and see you tomorrow for more business news.
would it do? If she's not even going to hug you anymore, you need to move on with your life, Ding Renjian. Would you wake up?
All done. Done. Does it even matter?
Nothing like those developers. And I don't want to be. It's not right.
I didn't take advantage of anyone. On the job, I turned it down.
Hold on. Do you realize how much trouble I went through to make this opportunity possible for you?
Welcome to the sports segment. The 2021 African Junior Champion Angeli Okutoyi left the country yesterday to compete in the junior category at the prestigious Australia Open to be held from the 22nd to the 29th of January. Angela, who was recently ranked 60th on 3rd of January 2022, will also take part in the J1 Triathlon event in the same country from the January 14th all the way to the 19th as she eyes to advance to the top 30th. Okutoyi is among 46 players from the main draw in the girls category and will be her first Australian Open Junior Championships.
Great job, Andy. Great job. Well done.
Well, we wish her well. Now, the first batch of the Kenya national ladies cricket team left the country this evening ahead of the Commonwealth Games qualifiers to be held in Malaysia from the 18th to the 24th of this month. The second batch will leave tomorrow. The team, which received kits from the National Olympic Committee of Kenya 3 days ago, will begin their qualifying matches against Bangladesh on the 18th of this month. Kenya will face Sri Lanka on the second match of the 20th of the month before playing Scotland 2 days later and ending the group round against hosts Malaysia on the 23rd of this month. The 5 women teams will compete for one place in the cricket tournament at the 2022 Commonwealth Games, which will be held on the 28th July to 8th August in Birmingham, England. African giants Morocco, Senegal and Guinea began their Africa Cup of Nations title hunt with wins as the continental tournament entered day 2 in Cameroon. A Sadio Mane penalty 7 minutes into stoppage time enabled lackluster Senegal to beat Zimbabwe 1-0, a winning score posted by Morocco and Guinea against Ghana and Malawi respectively. Gabon will face Cameroon tonight from 10 p.m. in a day 2's late kickoff.
What they've seen. Chance now, oh, and there it is. The fear factor kicks in, and so.
It's ball to Conte, controls well, gets to pull back, and there's the opening goal of the game. 1-0. Protests, and then in a yellow card. That's unfortunate. Up against Mare.
42 county football associations and leaders from the coastal region unanimously endorsed Twaham Barak to vie for the vacant Kenya Football Federation FKA presidency in the election set to be held by April this year. Led by Jomvu Member of Parliament Badi Twalib, the leaders insisted on the need to revive football standards which had dwindled in the country over the past many years as a result of poor leadership and lack of inclusivity of the stakeholders.
Led by Jomvu MP Badi Twalib, the leaders insisted on the need to revive football standards which has dwindled in the country for many years as a result of poor leadership and lack of inclusivity of all stakeholders. Twaha reiterated his commitment to ensure equitable distribution of funds to all the 47 counties to develop the game and roll out a nationwide scouting of players for national teams besides those selected from top-tier leagues and introduction of a sustainable youth programs which will ensure a well-structured football system at all levels.
wale viongozi waliopita. Viongozi walipita katika sehemu nyingi sana. Twaha Mbarak amesimama na mpira kwa miaka ya kutoka utotoni mpaka leo. Mimi nikiwa mjumbe nasema wakati wa kupanga mpira kwenye meza umekwisha. Ni lazima tutafute viongozi ambao miguu yao ilikanyaga katika miwanja wa mpira, na kiongozi huyo ni Twaha Mbarak ambaye yuko hapa.
Elsewhere, Mainstream Academy FC from Dagoretti South constituency were crowned champions of the annual KJ Super Cup after their 3-0 post-match penalties win against Dagoretti Youth FC at the Ruta Stadium. Both teams had settled for a 1-all draw during regulation time. The tournament had kicked off in December last year with 75 teams from 5 electoral wards, including 12 women teams, taking part. Mainstream backed home 100,000 shillings, while the Dagoretti Youth received 50,000 shillings. Frederick Mwoki for Prime Edition.
Further afield, Ralph Rangnick will get his first taste of the FA Cup when Manchester United play host